The innovative use of new and emerging technologies is a challenge that every learning institution faces in this day and age. However, it is not enough to simply use these technologies in a haphazard and unfocused way if educators are to provide a quality learning experience for their students. At the 2008 International Conference on ICT in Teaching and Learning, Professor Fred Lockwood of Manchester Metropolitan University in the UK identified the key challenges educators face in successfully exploiting communication and information technology. He gives his thoughts on why it is crucial to increase overall access to emerging technologies while using the most appropriate media for different environments. Professor Lockwood also focuses on the importance of maintaining high-quality teaching and learning as computer and information technologies are integrated into the educational environment.
The title, as it's being revealed, sums up what I'd like to share with you today: meeting the challenge. There's certainly no shortages of challenges facing us today. And I've tried to identify 4, which I think are really important: increasing access and realising potential. As I travel around the world, often seeing small children in the street, I think somewhere there must be another Frank Whittle, the man who invented the aero engine. There must be a Madame Curie. There must be talent there. There's got to be. They just need that opportunity. And so few people get that opportunity. So for me, increasing access is a real challenge. Just before the conference started, I was talking to my colleague, talking about blended learning, using the most appropriate media. I'm not an accountant, but money is always important. And using the most appropriate media is important. Using the best resources you've got, being most effective, most efficient. So that's why I think using the appropriate media is important, my second challenge. And of course, a major theme within this conference today is exploiting the media, exploiting communication and information technology. Certainly another challenge. But all of that can fail unless we're providing a quality learning experience. At the end of the day, it's the quality of learning, the quality of that teaching that's so important. And that's why I've identified that as a 4th challenge. Let's put that into perspective. 113 million plus people, mainly girls, are denied schooling today. That is tragic. In the 21st century, that so many people never get that opportunity. I've said here there are over 800 million illiterate males and females in the world today, often condemned to physical work, subsistence level farming around the world. That is tragic when they've got that talent, that potential. Well, if that's the bad news, there is a glimmer of good news on the horizon. You'll have heard of the Millennium Goals, in particular Millennium Goal 2. That goal to provide universal primary education so that every boy, every young girl in the world gets that opportunity to enter primary school and start on that process of being educated. And these are the future. These happen to be children from India when I was in Delhi a few weeks ago. These are the lucky ones. These are the ones already in school who have that opportunity. There are 113 million who never get that opportunity. Children in Johannesburg in South Africa, again, there are millions of children in that country never get the opportunity. These are the lucky ones. Well, there is some good news on the horizon. I was at the launch of the Pan-Commonwealth Forum conference in London several months ago, and Professor Abdul Khan, several of you will know Professor Khan, who works for UNESCO, and he was telling us how internationally there are major strides to reach Millennium Goal 2 of the number of children who are now entering schools. It's in excess of 80%, which is, well, not brilliant, but it's getting there. And in that context, the open schools, not just in India, in Africa, but around the world. I was talking to a colleague from working in Australia at the present time. The Open School in Australia is giving children there the opportunity to enter school who normally wouldn't have that opportunity. The school nets around the world, again, are providing that opportunity. And so many open universities are providing that opportunity. The Open University of Bangladesh is giving the children the opportunity to learn. So that's all good news. There's bad news as well. At the same conference in London, where Abdul Khan was saying that we're approaching Millennium Goal 2 and giving increasing number of children the opportunity to enjoy education, Sir John Daniel cast a warning shot across our bows. And he was saying, yes, there are more and more children entering primary school, and then onto secondary school, and then clamouring at the gates of colleges and universities. And this is not a quote, it's what I actually wrote down at the time. It wasn't in his presentation, where he said, there is this tidal wave of students now entering the education sector who will be coming to universities like this one and looking for admittance. So we really do have a challenge of getting children into school, through college and university. And I really do think, not a tidal wave, it's a tsunami heading in our direction. And certainly in Southeast Asia in particular, where the populations are so generally young and increasing rapidly, there's going to be a major demand for higher education in Southeast Asia. And how are we meeting that challenge? Well, here's a quote from Sir John Daniel 12 years ago, where he said, just to maintain the current proportion of people entering university, just to leave it as it is, not to improve it, just to keep it as it is, we need a new university every week. Well, I can't remember which university opened last week, and I'm not sure which one will open next week. It's not happening. Well, it's not happening because of organisations and systems and techniques like open universities. I showed you a picture from New Delhi of those children in the street. Are you aware that the National Open University of India, the Indira Gandhi National Open University, has 1.4 million students? I made a mistake when I was in Delhi a few months ago. I asked the question, how many open universities are there in India at the present time? Is it 12 or 13? You're wrong, Fred, it's 14. So there may not have been a new university last week or next week, but in terms of that movement, in terms of teaching differently, in terms of through open university, through blended learning, exploiting the technology, we are actually getting there. And I'll list a few others here. The Virtual University of Pakistan, that doesn't need buildings. I travel around the world, and I was in a nameless university recently, and on the tour, the obligatory tour around the university, I was shown the lecture theatres. What do you think of the lecture theatres, Fred? Magnificent. But I couldn't resist asking, how often are they used? Oh, every Friday. What about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday? Well, no, they're not used those days. So why build it? You know, there are theatres that are empty during the day. You know, they show films in the evening. Maybe that would be a better way to spend the money. In Indonesia, over 200 million people in Indonesia, but they're meeting that challenge. The Virtual University of the small states of the Commonwealth, again, giving those people in remote island states the chance to receive education. And I couldn't resist this, I'm afraid. I'm afraid I'm going to lose friends in the audience. When I was looking at the Straits Times just a few months ago, when the Singaporean government announced how they were going to meet this challenge, and you can read from the chart as simply as I can,